Tell me, how can anybody be okay with this? Oh, how can anybody?
Hi, chrispierce. Thank you for coming on a musicianshift today and being with us.
Great to be with you, Allison. Thanks for having me.
We're talking about what's going on in this moment, 2020. I'd love to hear your thoughts today on what's going on in our society and how we can charter a course for change in our music community. Will you just give us a brief snapshot of what your background is and how you've been affected as a person of color, a Black man in this business, and how that's affected you in any way through your course?
Yeah, sure. Well, great to be here, and you know, to kind of touch on the first part of that. You know, I feel like oppression and injustice are something that I feel like it gets to a certain point where people raise their voices, and I feel like this is done time and time again all over the world. And I feel like there's often so many distractions to pull you then away from that energy and back to your normal everyday lives, and to not really reaching out your heart to other people and living your life with compassion. And I think that that's, you know, part of the human condition. I think what makes this time unique is that the collective energy that we all can feel is more powerful than those static and isolated feelings that could take us away from the energy from what it feels like to be together, to fight for something together. And I think that this is a very unique time in our history and in our lives, those of us who are here now, to really get together and once and for all fight for those that are unspoken for so much, and fight for those who aren't exactly like us, who have differences of different ways that they were raised, different beliefs, different ways that they walk and talk and belong in society. I think it's time to fight for each other, and I think it's such a beautiful time. It's a collective time, and I can't remember in my lifetime any time where it felt this powerful, like something might actually be done. So I think that's you know, it's a beautiful time to be here. It's a beautiful time to be a songwriter. Songs can add to that emotion. They can add to that collective energy. You know, I was raised in Southern California, and my parents were the first interracial couple on our block. We had a cross burned on our front lawn one night because of that. That's my earliest memory of racism at 5 years old, and it's been kind of an uphill climb since then, since 5 years old. You know, I do consider myself a Black man. I'm proud to be a Black man. At the same time, I was raised by my mother, who birthed me, is a white woman, and I think that her embracing the fact that knowing some of the things my dad and my relatives on my father's side had been through, and embracing the fact from an early age that she's going to have to prepare me for, unfortunately, for some of these same experiences, I think was really a moment for her. When I talk to her now about this, in this moment, it was a moment for her of a way of feeling that she had never felt in her life, something that she had never considered, that she'd be talking to her child about being pulled over and walking down the street and defending themselves and when to walk away, and these kinds of things that she never considered growing up, that she'd be talking to her child about these things. And she did, and my father did, and I had my fair share of run-ins with both younger people, older people, people in law enforcement growing up, and up until recently, it still happens once in a while. And I mean, there's a whole timeline. I'm actually writing a song right now that kind of goes through a timeline of different experiences. And I feel like growing up, I always gravitated to music because, as an only child, as a black child, as a biracial child, as a child who was highly emotional, I always felt different and like I a little bit isolated. So music was a way I could just kind of tuck away and write about some of my feelings that I didn't think other people would understand. And as I got older, I realized that how music is a way to really share my perspective and have a conversation, and it could be actually something that people could understand if I write with clarity. So that's kind of how my journey with music began. And I did music through high school, through college, scholarships, and then road tours, record deals, and now I've been independent for the past over 10 years, and here we are today. I'm just happy to still be doing it.
We're in that space where we're all being educated. The people that haven't been affected in that way are really waking up. It's taking a long time. And I feel like I grew up in Florida, so I know what you're talking about the burning crosses. They were doing it 20 minutes from my house in 1987. It's insane, but it wasn't on my front lawn, right?
Yeah.
There's the difference. Okay, so there is an understanding that needs to come, and I know that through your music that it's been layered in there through the whole entire time. Civil equality, and not just equality, equity.
Yeah.
And you said you had so many. You've been writing since you were a kid, right? So you've been playing since what age?
Since I was super young. 3-4 years old. I mean, I learned how to spell my name by singing a song,
right,
when I was young. But as far as sitting down and actually writing a song, I'd say 7 or 8 or 9, something like somewhere in there. 3rd, 4th grade, I think. Yeah.
Oh wow, super young. When you got to LA and you started to navigate I assume you started in LA, right? Because you were here already, right? Yeah. You were in this area. Yeah. So how did you navigate that, or did you feel any racial tensions when you started to play out? Did you or look for a label, or did that affect you as a musician, and how did it propel you forward, if so?
Well, I feel like, the answer is yes. I have felt that. And I feel like, the root of it is that, music is the business side of music. It is a business. And I feel like, coming up, dealing with different businesses in music, there was, first of all, this kind of fraternal feel of folks that how do I put this? It was kind of run like, things were run like a big business. Like it wasn't, it wasn't a sensitive place to be, where people were really being conscious of of my feelings about who I am, my music, what I need to say. It was more like, kind of being on a cookie cutter sheet. And I think that that my biggest experience with that kind of thing in the music business has been, the question, who are you? What are you? Well, hold on a minute. Now you you have to choose this side or you have to choose that side. You're not black enough. You're definitely not white enough. What? Where are we going to put you? I've heard those words several times along the journey from the business side of music. Is we just don't know where to put you. Where do we put you? And to me, that's just always so insulting. It not only insults me and my music, but it insults artists in general and art in general, because for me, to me and to a lot of people I know, art is not meant to be, compartmentalized. It's meant to look at with an open heart and be experienced with an open heart and an open mind and open energy. And so to be in these situations where people are coming at me so combatively, with you have to stick to this formula, write this type of song, stick to this, or else we're not going to be able to do anything with the album. That is it's a feeling like of isolation. You feel like you're alone. You feel like nobody really understands what you're trying to do, and then eventually you retreat, which I've done several times. To just fight for it and fight for getting your music out there the way that you want to put it out there. So I think that, to answer your question, I think that's that's been the main thing. My dealings with race and the music business. That's been the main hurdle, the biggest hurdle. I would like to also say that I've been around some wonderful people along the journey that really embraced, what I've done, that have really just, I think as artists, we look for people, whether you're black, whether you're white, whatever, you look for people who get it and get you and get what you're doing. And I've run across those people too. And, for me, you stick to those people like glue. It's because it's a few and far between, in my experience, people who really get not only what I'm writing and what I'm singing today, but where it all comes from, and are willing to listen to my story, or are willing to listen to, what my influences are, that hear those influences, throughout the songs, and are able to pick them out and really understand like where it is, this music is coming from inside of you. And, there's been some amazing people along the way. John Butcher, who's like a brother to me, who I've toured with around the world. Dave Resnick, who was a guitar player and A&R person in one of the first bands I toured with nationally, Sonia Dada, who still, both of those guys are still dear friends of mine, who have not only been like big brothers to me, but they've been big music industry brothers to me. It kind of taught me a lot of the ropes, because those guys have dealt with some of the same things as me. They know where my music comes from. They know it's not something that necessarily fits into a box, and they know that that you have to really know who you are and be willing to choose your battles. Realize that it is a business, and choose your battles and do what's right for your heart and do what's right for the music. And so, yeah, I did want to make sure I said that there have been some wonderful people along the way that have gotten it. And I'd say to any young artist out there, you stick to those people like glue, because they're your allies. They're the people who are going to roll through the trenches with you. They're the people who are going to offer insight. They're the people that are going to protect your heart as sometimes as well as, or not better, that you can yourself. That they're going to really be able to see from the outside what's happening. So stick around those folks.
Yes, I have also had so many blessings flow from not only just this entertainment community, but really the artists have blessed my life. I saw that you were involved with your wife. Tell us what organization that was that you guys had it was June 20th and 21st.
Yeah, that was it was led by Reverend William Barber, Dr. Reverend William Barber, and it's the Poor People's Campaign, and one of the things I love about Reverend Barber is, not only is he a great orator and really just gets to the root of the problem, with racism and with oppression in America. He really deals with getting to the core of it, what inequality means, the economic side of it, the part that has to do with our healthcare system, and how that all surrounds the racism that we see on the streets, how it's all connected. That oppression is not just black men getting hurt and killed and women getting hurt and killed on the street. It starts with economic inequality. It's inequality in our healthcare system. It's inequality in our banking systems. And he really does that. And, the Poor People's Campaign is really, he's doing, God's work. He's fighting for the poor. And it's right on for Tara and I. We look at that and say, that's what it's about. The folks that don't have the resources, to even think about fighting against some of these things that are just hammered down on them their entire lives. The families that have their sons and daughters killed, that doesn't even cross their mind that they could afford a lawyer and fight against this. And Dr. Barber and the Poor People's Campaign, they're really, doing some of this work and making a voice, and fighting and raising money and raising a consciousness surrounding it. Yeah,
that's amazing. I did watch some of that, and I thought it was really important. I was really happy that they aired that, and I watched several sections of it from the other day. So
where we move forward, I think, is everybody's personal decision, right? It's like, are you willing to keep working and fighting, and are you willing to keep this this feeling that you have of justice and fighting for equality for all? Is it going to be something that you're willing personally to keep on the forefront of your day and of your experience? I feel that everybody has a unique individual choice. Are you going to let this time mean something in your life? Or are you going to make a change, or are you going to let it fade away? I think that there's so many organizations, there's so much out there, there's so many things to do. The work is everywhere. The work is at home. It's on the computer. It's in the songs. It's on the streets. It's in so many places. And I feel like it's time for all of us to take personal responsibility while taking care of our own hearts and our spirits and our health, to make decisions that are going to affect others in a positive way. And so, I can't say, pinpoint. I don't want to pinpoint one, because I don't think that that's like the big picture. I think the big picture is stay involved. Keep speaking up in your circles. So those of you who, for everybody, in uncomfortable situations where you might be around people that are doing things and saying things that you don't agree with, speak up. Don't let it just be this month when you're appalled by a couple killings of unarmed people. Let this be part of your life. Let it be part of your life's work. Let it be part of your life's journey. And I think that's a decision, an important decision that we all need to ask ourselves in this moment, moving forward. And with that commitment and with that decision, we start making it part of our lives. We start reaching out to different organizations. We pick the ones that mean the most to us. We go out in the streets when it's time for, we feel like it's right in our time to do that. We write songs when we feel like it's our time to do that. We reach out to musicians to interview them about their journeys when we feel like that it's the time. And I feel like this cycle, if you just let it be part of your day, like having your coffee or your morning yoga or whatever you do, let it be part of your meditation, because not only will it be good for your own heart, it'll be fighting for other people. There is nothing bad that's going to happen to your spirit from doing that, ever. It's something that will always add to your spirit and add to the layers of the beautiful person that the beautiful hearts we all have inside.
But I couldn't have put it better. And I agree with you. I mean, it has to become part of us cellularly and infiltrate its way into society, hopefully, through each one of us every single day, just taking that time to learn something new. And we all share our experience. And maybe we can find strength and hope in that, and begin to have understanding is the most important thing, in a respectful, loving way. And you bring that through your music, and you bring that through when you speak, and when you speak to others. And I value that groundedness in you. And I know we all do, Chris Pierce. And thanks to Tara for loaning you out for a little while.
Well, she
thank you to her.
Being married to an incredible artist who's an incredible, beautiful person inside and out, inspires me. And I mean, I feel like our journeys are parallel, and not just because we're married now, but that we continue to go through some of the same times of celebration, times of struggle, times of uncertainty in our individual careers, and we can kind of navigate along that path together. And Tara inspires me every day to get up, to pick up a guitar, to keep writing, to keep strumming, to keep singing, to keep getting my voice out there, because I see her doing the same thing in her own way, through acting and some of the social work she does with young girls and women's organizations and organizations for people of color, and really reaching out beyond her comfort zone, not only in her craft but in her everyday life. And so I could go on and on for days about her. About Tara.
Yeah, I love that you could go on and on about her. I feel so fortunate to be able to speak with you today and to just get your insight. I know we could do a few hours of interviews and chit chat. Hopefully we will have the opportunity, maybe even later in the summer. You said you're going to record a few things this summer, so maybe after those things are recorded, it would be lovely to speak again and more in depth about what's going on. I feel like music is our answer. So I'm so fortunate and very appreciative that you came on to speak with us today and impart to us. And hopefully everybody will check you out at chrispierce.com. And I know we'll be hearing more from you. But did you want to say anything? Leave us with any thoughts besides that was beautiful. Thank you again.
Well, I feel like I've said a lot, but just thank you for having me, Allison, and it's been a pleasure talking with you. And to anybody out there, thanks for listening to my perspective. Please continue to fight for your own heart and for the hearts of others. A lot of people are asking how to support Black artists. Well, you can buy our records.
That's right.
Buy our albums. Remember we used to buy albums? Yeah, you could buy our albums. They're all over iTunes and Amazon and everywhere. There's a lot of places to buy records still.
Yep.
So yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for listening, and thanks for opening your hearts to my perspective and my music. Let me be your sunshine wherever you go.